Welcome, everyone. For today's prelude, I'd like to play a little song that I thought might go well with today's service. It's called In My Next Life. It was about my first dog ever. I got my first dog ever when I was 40, and his name was Theo, and this is from the perspective of Theo. And the words change around sometimes, but anyway, I hope you like it. In My Next Life. I wanna come back in my next life as a used dog. I wanna come back in my next life as a liberal's dog. Have I been good enough in this life to deserve such charms? I wanna come back in my next life as a lesbian's dog. All the best toys, I must say, and I have a sweater for every single day, and a long lead on which to roam and play. We take trips in the van, I'm their only man, and this, of course, was my original plan. I wanna come back in my next life as a Unitarian's dog. I wanna come back in my next life as a Democrat's dog. Have I been good enough in this life to deserve such charms? I wanna come back in my next life as a lesbian's dog. Dinner's fit for a king, grain-free kibbles they bring. I couldn't want for anything. When the sign says no stopping, no parking, no standing, jump the curb, use the grass, there'll be no reprimanding. I wanna come back in my next life as a Unitarian's dog. I wanna come back in my next life as a Unitarian's dog. Have I been good enough in this life to deserve such charms? I wanna come back in my next life as a lesbian's dog. I wanna come back in my next life as a liberal's dog. Woo, woo.
I'm pretty sure we're the only church in Fayetteville that has that as its prelude. Perhaps the only one in Arkansas. Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Fayetteville. My name is Gene Van Zant. I've been a member here since 2001. I chair the Chalice team along with my co-chair Renee that plans our services every Sunday. And so any suggestions or volunteers are welcome to join us. Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religious tradition that values freedom in thought and journey. We uphold the unity of our interconnections, connections to each other, to all of life, and to the precious universe of which we are a part. Wherever you are in your spiritual journey, we welcome you. You can always get more information about us on our website, uufayetteville.org, or just talk to someone with a name tag that looks semi-permanent to me or to anyone. On our website, you can sign up to get our weekly email. It's kind of our main information disseminating source. Also, those here in person can fill out a white card and indicate that you would like to get that email. Those joining us on the live stream can do that through the website. There's also a yellow card. So there's a white card and a yellow card that you should see on the back of the seat in front of you. The yellow card for joys, concerns, and needs that you might want to share. And we'll have a point later in the service where you can bring those up And be sure to indicate whether you want those read or not publicly. Those on Facebook can write their joys and concerns in the comments. We have a staffed nursery downstairs. If you have need of that, we have devices for hearing assistance back at at our AV table. Normally in our services here, we focus on what we believe: love, justice, democracy, equity, diversity, inclusion. Today we're focusing on something we don't believe: the existence of hell. Why are we doing this? Because we live in a culture where a large number of people do believe in hell, and some of those people are glad to tell others that they are going to hell if they do not share their religious beliefs. I've actually been surprised in the last few new member sessions, what we call Being UU, how many people have brought up hell and the fact that either they or their children were told they were going to hell if they didn't join their religious group. I see a lot of nods. And that's really the reason that made me want to talk about it this morning. It's important, I think, for us to explain why we don't believe in it. If there is any sort of afterlife, I think most of us would say it's going to be a good one, and it will be universally available. That's one of our middle names, Universalist. That's where that comes from. And so we're glad you're here and invite you to join with us fully throughout this service. Joanna and Sam are going to light the chalice for us.
Happy 2023. I'm excited about this service. All right, Sam. Okay, here we go. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in truth, and to help one another. Thus do we covenant together. You got it. All right.
Good job.
Please join me in rise and singing our hymn number 389, Gathered Here. We're going to sing this 3 times. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Last time. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning. So good to be back after holiday travels. I miss this place. This is a good book. I bought it to use in my practice as a school counselor. And writing books for children about grief is a difficult task. And a lot of times those books tend to be very religious. And so it's just good to find something like this. It's called Where Do They Go? The author is Julia Alvarez, and the illustrator is Sabra Field. When somebody dies, where do they go? Who can I ask? Does anyone know? Do they go where the wind goes when it blows? Do they fall with the rain from the sky? Are they my tears when I cry? Do they turn into clouds and change every hour? A flamingo, a cat, a dancer, a flower? Do they dive into rivers and dissolve in the sea? Do they tickle my feet when waves wash over me? Do they drift with the snow? Are they sad? Are they cold? Can I catch them as snowflakes on the tip of my tongue? Are they that quiet feeling at the end of a song? Do they wink back at me when I wish on a star? Do they whisper, "You're perfect, just as you are"? Do they listen to secrets? Do they nod when I ask for help with a specially difficult task? Do they grow wings when they die and fly far away? Or hover above me when I need them to stay? Will they answer my questions? Will they still hold my hand? Will they say not to worry if I don't understand? Is it them that I feel alive in my heart? Is it there that I go when I'm sad or apart? Are they hiding on rooftops at the foot of the stairs? So I'll stop and look closely to search for them there. I find them each day in surprising new places, in the soft falling rain, in the smiles on faces, in the sun as it sets when the long day is done, in the waves as they roll, on the sea, on and on. Sometimes, very briefly, I catch just a glance in the hills' quiet stillness and a storm's dark advance. Just a glimpse, just a peek, a small puzzle I solve when I'm loving the world they left me to love. Amen.
It's time for our joys and concerns. Could you turn those lights on, Charlotte, the top two left? Yeah. As a diverse people, we share various joys and concerns, and we invite you to share those as you desire. In just a minute, we're going to invite you to come up and drop a stone or more in the water to represent a joy or concern that has come into your life. If you have one of those yellow cards, you can bring that up then too and give it to me. If you have a yellow card and can't come up, just hold it up and someone will come get that. None of us really knows what's going on in other people's lives unless they share that with us. Some things are too tender to be shared, but we invite you to share as you're able. Come up and drop a stone. Thank you. Time now for our offering. The important work of this fellowship is possible because of generous contributions of time, energy, and money. All contributions of any size are welcome. Many people give online through either bank draft or other means, but we like to pass the basket as well and give you an opportunity to share. No obligation to do that, though. It's a free will offering.
We are going to play a song that Maddie has known for a little bit, and she plays it beautifully. And I'm just going to invite you to, if you feel comfortable, closing your eyes and just really listening to the words. I think this is one of those songs that we hear so often we don't really think about the words, which are very relevant to our topic today. This is Imagine by John Lennon. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. And above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Oh, imagine there are no countries. Isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. Ooh, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. Equality and no judgment. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. Ooh, you may say I'm a dreamer, but we're not the only ones.
world will live as one.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Maddie and Stephanie. I grew up believing in a very literal heaven, a place of eternal happiness, and a very literal hell, a place of everlasting torment. The faith in which I was raised did teach that innocent children would go to heaven, but that at a certain point, what was called the age of accountability, you must believe in Jesus and be baptized, or else when you died, you would go to a place where you would burn forever and ever. There was no clarity about when the age of accountability occurred. Seemed to be somewhere around the 5th grade. Where is that split second between safety and danger? It really bothered me a lot. I worried about it. But I was baptized by my dad at age 10 and slept peacefully, knowing I was safe again. There was a new thought that bothered me, though, and that was thinking about all the other people, which in my faith I was taught not only non-Christians, but every Christian, which we didn't even call them Christians because they weren't real Christians, but the Baptists, the Presbyterians, the Methodists, the Catholics, the denominations, because we were the one true church, but the Pope was going to hell, and Mother Teresa, and Billy Graham was going to hell. And that started to weigh on me. That just seemed so horrible, and I became something of a fanatic of trying to convert others. I lived at the time in Austin, Texas, 3 blocks from the headquarters of Madalyn Murray O'Hair's American Atheists. Y'all know Madalyn Murray O'Hair. I went to junior high with her granddaughter, who was harassed, as I remember, by her classmates. But I had a dream I was going to convert Madalyn Murray O'Hair. The Holy Grail. But just the thought that everyone I encountered, or the vast majority of people I encountered, were destined for an eternity of endless suffering. Now, I think it's safe to say many of you were brought up with the same, or at least similar, thoughts and beliefs. And I think it's also safe to say most of us today don't carry those same beliefs with us. There may be some who do in this audience. But most of us don't believe that anyone who happens to have the wrong religious belief or doesn't go through the right motions is somehow going to be tortured forever. In fact, we're more likely to think of hell and talk about hell in humorous terms, to kind of joke it off. Found this recently. You know, the devil with the horns and the trident. And maybe you've heard some of these jokes. This is attributed to Mark Twain, although we think was probably repeating it from someone else, that he said he would go to heaven for the climate, but to hell for the company. Or maybe you've heard this quote from Texas musician Butch Hancock. Life in Lubbock, Texas taught me 2 things. One is that God loves you and you're going to burn in hell. The other is that sex is the most awful, filthy thing on earth, and you should save it for someone you love. Maybe you've seen the bumper sticker. I saw this years ago. These before memes, you know, bumper stickers and buttons were our memes. But it said, the bumper sticker said, I don't believe in God, I believe in gosh. And if you don't believe in gosh, you're going to be darned to heck. Now, these jokes obscure the fact that most Americans, and not just in Arkansas, talking about across the nation, most Americans do believe in hell as a very serious thing. This is the results of a survey done by the Pew Research Center in 2021. 73% of U.S. adults believe in heaven. 62% of all U.S. adults believe in hell. And you can see it varies depending by religious groups, with evangelicals and black Protestant denominations at about 90% believe in hell. Mainline denominations and Catholics, it drops some. Some good news, perhaps, that ages 18 to 49 have a lower belief than 50 and over. They also broke it down, this slide doesn't show it, but they broke it down into some other religious groups. 76% of Muslims believe in hell, 32% of Buddhists, and 22% of Jews believe in hell. Now, they didn't break out a line for Unitarian Universalists, but I suspect it would be in the single digits, if at all. There is a little bit of good news, because they asked people too, look, who do you think is going to hell? And it turns out a lot of people that say they believe in hell, when pressed for specifics, they're like, well, not like, or is everyone who disagrees with you religiously going to hell? And they're like, no. And a lot of those people think hell is just for really, really bad people. And that most people will go to heaven. All dogs go to heaven. Cats, no. Oh, sorry. Just offended half the audience. Most cats, I think, are safe. So what people mean by hell, whether they mean literal, metaphorical, varies quite a bit. Let's step back for a moment, though, and try to answer the question, where did the idea of hell originate? And it turns out it is a hard question to answer. It turns out a lot of cultures, in fact, some of the very earliest cultures that anthropologists have studied, did have a belief in an afterlife. We don't know a lot of the specifics. One of the clues is the fact that they would bury what are called grave goods with the dead, especially someone of high esteem, a chief, so forth in the village. We must prepare them for what's to come with jewelry, with weapons, with food, with clothing. If you're a pharaoh, with chariots and lots of your servants who get to accompany you, whether they want to or not. And places like this have been found in Arkansas even, along the Mississippi River, and places like Cahokia near St. Louis, which was a large native settlement. They found these sorts of beliefs. Moving forward a bit into all the various civilizations that we all have studied maybe a little bit, the Egyptians with their mummies, and a very complex belief involving Osiris and knowing the right chants and spells. The one on the upper right there representing the Viking belief in Valhalla. The Greeks and Romans, the Greek belief in the underworld and Hades. A representation here of reincarnation. And then the others of ancestor veneration, ancestor worship, which is widespread in Asia and Africa, Native American cultures. It's a very widespread belief. Now here's the thing, most of these involve a happy afterlife or a happy reincarnation. The specific ideas that we have in our culture of hell really trace to Orthodox Christianity. And so that's what I want to deal with more specifically. I should mention, by the way, it's no surprise that people want to believe in an afterlife. Nobody wants to think, this is it. We all want to live forever, right? We want to go on. We want to see people that we've lost. So it's understandable that that belief is almost universal. I should mention there are some groups and civilizations that did think this life is it. Socrates even suggested this is, maybe there's an afterlife, probably not. But within Christianity, the first and second centuries and following, this belief became more embedded. And what I want to give you today is 3 reasons to not believe in hell. 3 reasons I don't believe in hell. And I'm starting with one that may seem a little surprising about the Bible, because most of us wouldn't say the Bible is our final authoritative source. As Unitarian Universalists, we're open to lots of sources, none of them being, totally definitive. Why talk about what the Bible teaches one way or the other? The reason I'm doing this is because I think even if you do accept the Bible as your final authority, there are very good reasons to accept, to believe that the Bible does not teach the eternal conscious torment of all evildoers or all non-believers. This is a point of dispute within Christianity, but there are a lot of Christians who respect and love and believe the Bible who do not believe in this particular teaching. I was shocked to learn, maybe in graduate school, I think, it was the first time in theological graduate school that it was pointed out to me that the word hell and the concept of hell do not appear at all in the Hebrew Scriptures, what Christians usually call the Old Testament. It's not there at all. Either heaven or hell, they're both absent. Instead, the Hebrew Scriptures speak of Sheol, is the word, which in most Bibles today is translated the grave. And there is a reference to people going to the grave, which old English translations called hell, but now they realize that's not really what they meant. They meant the grave. It's a place of apparent unconsciousness and darkness, often thought to be under the earth. This is why, by the way, one of the reasons why so few Jews believe in hell is because it's not in their scriptures. There is a belief, sometimes seen in the Hebrew Bible, that spirits of the dead could be summoned. If you know your Bible, you know the story of Samuel being summoned by a witch. But not really a concept of heaven or hell. It's not there. This might surprise you too. If you read the letters of Paul, which are about half of the New Testament, he never mentions hell. Mentions a lot of other things we might object to, but he doesn't mention hell. You may know there are 4 Gospels tell the story of Jesus. One of those, which many people say is the one they love the most, Gospel of John, doesn't mention hell. Jesus never talks about it. That leaves the other Gospels where it does appear. Matthew, Mark, and Luke. But what's questionable is whether it is intended as a place of eternal conscious torment or just a place of destruction. The word used in these Gospels is Gehenna, which was also the name of the trash dump, which was perpetually burning outside of Jerusalem. By the way, Jesus talks about people doing the wrong things going to this place, people that did not feed the hungry or clothe the naked, not about people who didn't believe in him. So where did the common Christian concepts of hell come from? This is a cover of a book just to show you that even evangelical, so there are 4 authors of this book, all conservative evangelical Christians who disagree on hell, and whether it's literal, metaphorical, purgatorial, not even getting into purgatory today. I hope I don't get into purgatory. And conditional. That last one, conditional, really means it's talking about universalism. So where did these ideas come from? Largely from outside of the Bible, but they were imported by Christianity from Greek mythology, from Zoroastrianism in Persia, what today is Iran. And anybody recognize this drawing? Dante's Inferno is one of the places, even today, a lot of people, that's where their imagery comes from, in the various circles of hell and various punishments based on the sin involved. Why were people so intent on believing these things and teaching these things? It turns out telling other people that they're going to go to hell if they don't do certain things is highly motivating to get people to do those things. In fact, it's more motivating than holding out a reward of heaven. The punishment of hell was so frightening. And you can read some horrific descriptions, of the types of punishments in store. Very frightening. And getting people to do and to believe what their leaders wanted them to do and to believe. Now, while some Christians were busy constructing hell, there were others from the very early years who were universalists, who did not believe in this type of hell for anyone, including these three guys that I'm not going to get into, Clement, Origen, and Gregory, among the early universalists and highly respected theologians of the early church. Over time, though, their view is going to be squashed, and the Orthodox Catholic view becomes preeminent, although even the Catholic Church today has sort of backed off somewhat of some of these teachings. The Universalist Church in America, one of the key leaders was this guy, Hosea Ballou, and he believed that there would be punishment for sin, but only in this life, and that at death the soul is purified and everyone enters basically into heaven, immortality. The Universalists later merged with the Unitarians. One of the old quips I've heard, maybe you've heard, is that the Unitarians believed they were too good for God to send them to hell, and the Universalists believed God was too good to send anyone to hell. But somehow they worked it out. In recent years, a growing number of Christian scholars have rejected the traditional notions of hell. I came to a point, while I was still a strong Christian, of not believing in hell. I didn't share that with a lot of people. I held that to myself because it was kind of a controversial idea. But that was the only way I could sort of resolve the cognitive dissonance in my head. And it turns out I'm not the only one. There are a lot of Christian preachers who don't believe in hell, really, or believe it's temporary or somehow not what most people think it is, and they usually keep that to themselves. Even though just in the preaching, if you go on YouTube or if you visit a Christian church, you don't hear a lot of hellfire anymore. There are a few places where you hear a lot of it, but in most churches, the church I grew up in, they hardly ever talk about it anymore. It's very much soft-pedaled. Joel Osteen, you want to know who that is? I don't think he's ever mentioned hell. It doesn't sell. It doesn't market well with the public. It turns out hell used to be a big sales driver, and now it's not at all. It's a huge turnoff. And that has a lot to do with the Bible being silent, but it has just as much, if not more, to do with point 2. And by the way, points 2 and 3 are going to be much shorter than point 1. Point 2, regardless of what the Bible says, anyone with, reasoning abilities and any moral sense can see that the idea of hell is incompatible with the idea of a loving God. One Christian scholar put it this way: everlasting torment is intolerable from a moral point of view because it makes God into a bloodthirsty monster who maintains an everlasting Auschwitz for victims whom he does not even allow to die. Strong words. an analogy, if you will, that this is one of the things that kind of tipped me out of Christianity. I was a teacher at a Christian college, and a student came up to me and gave me this analogy, which I didn't have a response for. They said, imagine you're in a romantic relationship with someone, and one day this person comes to you and says, I love you so much, and I want you to love me too, but I want that to be your free choice. I do need to inform you, if you choose not to love me, I'm going to torture you in the most horrific ways imaginable. Do you love me? Well, one of the things that I think changed in the olden days when people lived in more isolated communities that were more homogeneous, everyone around you kind of believes the same thing. It was kind of easy to believe those other people are going to hell. In today's world, it's just so much more connected through air travel and the internet and media. It's harder and harder to believe that these other people who seem like nice people are hellbound. You know, when I was growing up, Gandhi, hell. Anne Frank, the Dalai Lama, and most of the people you could think of and name in the world, yes, going to hell. And that's just hard to maintain that just because they happen to grow up in a culture that taught them something different, they don't happen to believe the same things. And finally, point 3, which for a lot of us would be the only point necessary, there's just no evidence for it. Christopher Hitchens said, that which can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. Carl Sagan put it this way, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. It's a pretty extraordinary claim to believe in hell, and yet the evidence is sorely lacking. Hard evidence that would hold up in a court of law or in a scientific laboratory. Now, I haven't addressed the question of whether heaven exists. I don't know. Another bumper sticker I've seen and liked said, I'm a militant agnostic. I don't know, and neither do you. Heaven does have the advantage of not being morally repugnant, but other than that, the evidence also is lacking. I would very much like to believe that some part of us continues on in the universe in some form or fashion. I would like to believe I will one day see people that I love that have died, or to meet famous people from the past in some afterlife, Abraham Lincoln. But I'm inclined to think this is all there is. This life is what there is. Now, back in my olden days as a Christian, I thought anyone that believed that, their life must be very meaningless and hopeless and just depressed all the time. I would suggest the opposite. Knowing that this is all we have makes this life all the more valuable. We should enjoy the beauty and the goodness of this world and try our best to reduce the suffering in this world. Let's not just hope that somehow it'll all even out in the afterlife. Let's try to make it better here and now. Renee has a song for us that I will let her introduce. Thank you.
Well, let's rise and sing our final hymn to the tune of the first Noel. Jean sent this to me. Jean sent it to me, and I fixed it up just a little bit, and let's see. No hell, no hell, no hell, no hell. It's a fictional place with a terrible smell. The doctrine of hell You may be seated. Good singing, everyone.
Wow. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I sure did. I'm one of those people, who really strongly believed in heaven and hell for many years. And like Jean, hell was the first portion of the dogma that I had to let go of because of cognitive dissonance. And I don't know how many people, anecdotally, that I have met who followed that same trajectory. Like, hell was just the hardest part to hang on to. It really caused us a lot of anxiety and anguish, and we worried about our loved ones all the time, and people we didn't know, And there's enough to worry about in life without adding that. All right, we're going to extinguish our chalice, Sam. All right, you ready? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. I'm going to stay up here. And Renee has a postlude for us.
Yes, okay. Thanks, everyone. We can get up and mill around now. It's just